Dave Brown here with producer Rob. How you doing, Rob?
Doing great, man. Special afternoon edition of our show.
Yeah, we don't do this very often, but we're working on some technical stuff. Rob's
Yep.
trying to learn me up all the time.
Yep.
So,
Trying
Rob,
to
you got a
make you
question?
better.
You got a yeah, you got a question today though about something about the Democrats. What are you
Well,
thinking?
David, what's just been crazy is ever since Donald Trump's come into office, it's been almost every day the Democrats are just really just grabbing at strings. So now they went after Elon Musk, didn't really go anywhere with him. So now they're trying to go after the number two person at Doge. It's just like this whole thing with Doge is just really has people flipped out. What's your take on this thing? I think this is actually good for America, especially now they're finding slush funds and finding money that was been hidden around. But the Democrats are very upset about this. I mean, what's your take on this, Dave?
Well, I kind of got two sides. I'm a little upset from the standpoint that we needed Doge like 50 years ago, 30 years ago, 10 years ago. We've had Democrat and Republican presidents since then. So I think Doge is the way our country's going, we talk about taking away Social Security, and for the last 30 years, it's always a threat, and all the things we're paying for. I don't think any of that stuff goes away if we just spend our money correctly. So Doge is finding the ways. You find the money, you follow the money, you follow either good or bad, and they're finding a lot of bad right now.
Mhm. Well, I did think it was interesting. They did manage to leak out information that there's a possibility that if they find enough money, every American could get maybe a check for $5,000. Had you heard that?
I I think that probably won't happen.
Mhm.
I'd rather see all the money, put at Social Security and Medicare. But we also have this big thing called a deficit at $36 trillion. And what's interesting is you go back. There was just something the other day on the on TV about way back, like 25 years ago. They were talking about this deficit, and they were talking then. We've got to not go there, but we did. And so now we're taking the first steps towards reeling it in. And I think a lot of people are having a hard time when you've had a pretty good gig for a long time and you don't have to do a lot for it, and you're under a safety net of government. Um, I think what's more wasteful though is just the stuff that they're finding. Not all government is bad, but bad spending is bad spending.
Very
So
true. And again, people are just losing their minds over it. I mean, this has been like the lightning bolt that's gone through America, this whole situation with Doge. I think a lot of people kind of laughed it off when it was first announced, but so far it's been pretty effective.
well, they had an interview with President Trump like 30 years ago or 25 years ago when he was doing The Apprentice. And there's a movie I just was given to, and I'm halfway through it right now. And it's all about Trump, but it's all about when he was younger and when he was on The Apprentice. And when he went to announce that he was running for the presidency in 2015, he was laughed off the stage and the microphone by the Democrats. They were just, what a joke. And within a couple of hours of him announcing his presidency, his poll numbers were going through the roof, and they
Mhm.
realized they had a tiger by the tail.
Yeah, yeah,
And he talked about the deficit back then, Rob.
exactly, exactly. And everything he's kind of said, that in terms of him kind of, I don't say, retribution. I don't think that's really the word, but he's actually calling people out for, things that they've done that have been not good for America, for stuffing money away in secret funds. So, I think that's great. And I think America, that's what we needed. We needed to see the government step in and say, hey, wait a minute, enough's enough. We're not going to be supporting. I think one of them was to support women's scholarship in Afghanistan. Well, Afghanistan's a nation where they don't really let women even speak in public. So how are they going to advance their scholarship opportunities? Just doesn't seem, the optics aren't good on it, Dave.
No, and I think, like for any of us, our budget, money is always a really important thing to all of us because it's for most of us, we're going, paycheck to paycheck, we're going month to month. We might have a little bit of savings, but, there's nothing wrong with the U.S. government, tightening up and getting better. Unfortunately, when you've let it go this long and you've let people get established into lazy spending and very protective spending, they're upset. And, when we talk about all these people getting fired from their jobs, it's like what's awesome, what we'll be better off is once we can get through a lot of the wasteful spending And not all government's going away. That's President Trump's never said that. It's,
Mhm.
you keep the right forms of government. You just don't have all these bad programs and bloated programs. We can't have people not doing work. We can't have people coming in for a couple hours a day. We can't have waste. If we all think about being a small business owner and you're running a cafe or a restaurant, you and I, if we had a staff of say 15, we're trying everything we can to get them as many hours as possible, pay them as much as we can, make it a great spot to work, create a good culture, produce good food, and you go. There's not a ton of money in the restaurant work. It's hard work. They can't waste any money there. They
Mhm.
have to be really frugal with their money. What's the difference between that and our federal government? Nobody should be getting an easy ride on the shoulders of taxpayers.
Mhm.
But we've done it so long, it's kind of become habit. And so that's going to be hard. And President Trump and Elon Musk are just saying, hey, if we start this now, over the next number of years, even during his presidency, we're talking trillions of dollars that will come off. We're way over $1 trillion a year just on interest on
Mhm.
our deficit. So that can't continue.
Another thing that's been really interesting is just how the media has been playing these stories. So you read one media outlet, story will be all about all the great work Doge is doing and all the money they're saving and all the things they're uncovering. And then you turn the page, you read another story about the exact same thing. And it's all about how Doge is you know, upending the government, how they're blowing things up and how they're ruining the government. So it's just really the media has played a really key role in this and just how they're spinning this.
Well,
And that's always been the game, the spin game, but this is a little dangerous, don't you think,
yeah,
Dave?
somebody had told me yesterday, and I hadn't thought about this angle, Rob. They were talking about CNN, and they've let like three of their key people go now,
Mhm.
and they're making like 15, $20 million a year. And then there's one top show on CNN still, 143,000 viewers. That's
Mhm.
it.
Yep.
143,000. I mean, I'm hoping this year we can pass that,
Yeah.
and stand tall.
Mhm.
But they're paying her $20 million. How in the world do you do that on 143,000 viewers? And this person's conspiracy theory is, are they getting propped up by a bunch of money? Because how do you give somebody a $20 million salary and you have
Mhm.
143,000 viewers? It just doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. Now, their viewership was a bit higher, but it's been going down steadily the last couple of years. That
Mhm.
doesn't make sense why we're paying people 15, 20, 25 million. And then all of a sudden we're saying, we're letting them go.
Mhm.
Well, they're letting them go because they can't keep paying that kind of money. So were they being propped up by other money? I would probably think the answer to that is yes. You've been in TV, radio,
Yeah.
mostly radio. You understand that you've got to get the viewers and the sponsors and the advertisements to pay the bills.
Yeah, it's all about sponsors and advertisers. And if you have one person writing a big check, they can underwrite the entire show. And some people have maybe even said George Soros has been writing checks to keep some of these people alive. Again, not sure if that's true or not, but certainly Mr. Soros has been in the public eye for a couple of years now for some things going on in America. So again, just the media is a mess. The Democrats are a mess, and it just seems like the only thing that's going great right now is Doge.
Well, and here's a kicker about I think a lot of people, even if they don't like Trump and Musk and they don't even like what's going on with Doge, is President Trump, I believe he gets 400,000 a year, 450,000 as a salary for being a president of the United States.
Mhm.
First time around, this time around, he never takes the money. It gets either put back or donated somewhere. And then Elon Musk for sure is not taking any money, not taking a
Mhm.
dime.
Yeah.
And they're both very well. They could be on a yacht somewhere in the Caribbean or Greece or
Mhm.
whatever, and doing all this stuff. They're doing it because they love this country and want to help this country out. And I just saw a big documentary. I did not know this about Abraham Lincoln. 20 years before he became president, what he was like in some of his speeches. And fascinating that he was talking about what was going to happen uh, in 20 years if we didn't correct our errors of slavery. And he was talking about that stuff. He was way ahead of his time back then when he was a legislature or whatever he was.
Mhm.
And I think right now, if we can cut down on our waste, then government will fill the role that it was intended to fill. Our infrastructure, the government agencies that are actually, supporting Social Security, being a really good one. Millions of Americans depend on Social Security, and we should be doing everything we can to make sure we're stable to pay that. Wasting money on condoms going to Afghanistan soldiers is not one of them.
Mm. Yeah, Dave. So, as we're gonna have to wrap up here real quick, but again, I just want to number one, let our viewers know, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify. You can look for us there, and you really help us out when you like, review, and subscribe to our podcast. It just helps our numbers, helps us get out there quite a bit. So, just always want to encourage you to just hit that like button and tell a friend. Again, we're just a couple guys. We like to just talk about the word on the street and kind of how we're feeling about things. So we feel like we have a message that resonates with a lot of folks. So, Dave, closing up things, what's going on for you this week? I know you're looking at a couple big issues. What do we got on the podcast this weekend coming up?
Well, we got the big House bill. I don't have the number right in front of me. It's a big one down at Salem. We live in Oregon, and there's a couple big, bills that they've moved forward about reparations in the state of Oregon. We don't have enough money in the state of Oregon to even pay for stuff, and yet they're talking about reparations. So we're going to talk a lot about that. I don't agree with reparations. It's just all a woke, socialistic, communist bad idea. And yet, with the Congress and the House in Oregon, it's 18 to 12 in the Senate, and it's 36-24 in the House. And that's why they can pass things like that. And then they're raising taxes as we're moving right now. Today, they're raising taxes on stuff that we're little. Let you go with this one. Local rental shop, renting out tractors, lawnmowers, and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know that there is a tax that came in last year from this very liberal Oregon government that said for every sale, every rental, let's say you pay $100 and rent a tractor or a truck or whatever to bring stuff home to your home. There's a little percent of that. Probably, I think it's like 8 cents per $100, something like that. Small, but boy, it adds up. And all that money goes into the state. That was just a tax they just put in, and nobody really knew about it. And yet, those rental places have to raise their prices because they're not going to just eat it. And so that's why raising taxes all the time is a bad idea. And that's why, I think as Americans, you need to vote as an American and vote as a good American. Know what you're voting for before you vote Democrat or Republican. Vote for the person that's going to represent your values. And if you do that, then you can say, okay, I did my job. That's our one job we have, Rob. Just go vote and know what we're voting for. Don't just vote Republican or Democrat. Vote for the person who's going to represent our values and spend our money the right way. And
Sure.
yeah, so that's about all I got. Like you said, we just appreciate everybody coming on the show. Tomorrow, me and Paige are on. I think we're going to go through the same format. We're going to get a little bit more live. And as soon as Coach Brown here gets all the technical stuff out of the way, we've got a lot of guests lined up. It's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, I know you were down at the ORP this weekend, and got a lot of big wigs who are interested in coming on the show. So I'm excited about that. So we'll have to make that happen for sure.
Absolutely. Really good new direction there, and a lot of people that just care about our state. So again, that's the kind of people I want to represent. That's the kind of people I want to support.
Dave, I was working at a ORP doing some video work, and I just, I don't know these people, but I got to tell you, not any of them really had any egos. I didn't really notice one person who, wanted to be, they're all very humble people, the leadership, the chair, vice chair, and all that. Very humble people who just want to do a good job. So I think it's gonna be exciting to see what you come up with for those guys.
Yeah, I think the change in leadership was really good and healthy. It's a good time. Some of the people leaving were good people too. Not everybody, there's some people in there that need to be slapped around a little bit. There's a little selfishness going on in any organization, but I think a big weekend for the Oregon Republican Party for sure. Jerry Cummings, our new ORP chair, Connie Walchel from Bend, Oregon, the new vice chair. They're good, solid, patriotic American Oregonians who just want to work hard for the people of the state. So,
And they're real people. They're authentic. I mean, salt of the earth people. You don't even know you're meeting a politician. They just seem like they're normal, real people. So they're not professional politicians, is what I'm trying to say.
no, they're not. So, but the new chair, new vice chair, Jerry Cummings, Connie Wetzel, they're both going to be on the show probably within a week. Yeah, good moves. And I think there's a lot of all the counties around us here in Yamhill County. And I think nationwide, Rob, as we move to more of a nationwide podcast, which we're going that way.
Mhm.
I'll tell you what, even though some people live in more conservative states in Oregon, we live in the greatest country in the world. And the way we'll keep it the greatest country in the world is local government moving out and voting. Everybody votes, and we support our local, school boards,
Mhm.
city councils, county commissioners. Those are the people who are really doing the boots on the ground. Probably impact us more than the White House and the national type stuff. So yeah, we're
Sure.
going to support those people all the time, absolutely, and we'll try to have more shows to tell people how to look to vote.
Sure.
And so yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, David, that's been a great show. Why don't you go and take us out, man?
Hey, stand tall with Dave Brown, producer Rob, Paige and I are here tomorrow, and we always finish it with peace out. See you guys later. Bye.